Well, 1 week ago, the McLaren duo absolutely obliterated the competition here in RPL Tier 2 at the Reverse Silverstone Sprint Race, and then they went on to destroy everybody again in the Grand Prix. 1 week on, we go to another track where the McLarens are expected to be strong, and that is Spain. Hello, everybody. Welcome to RPL Tier 2 Season 18. It is the midway point of the season. It's round 5. It's the Spanish Grand Prix. And I am your commentator today, BeatNix714, joined by nobody, because whatever. And we are set for what could be a very interesting race. We have a Literal Fusion championship leader. We have a Mintoki second place after 4 rounds. This season, Fusion leads by 11 points over the Mercedes driver. And then 16 back, we have Lennon, who won the opening round back in Australia. That is your top 3 in the Drivers' Championship, and I'm sure we expect Literal Fusion to once again finish in that top 2 to cement himself a potential champion of the second tier. Remember, he did win the Tier 3 championship back in Season 3, which was on the last game cycle, so he is no stranger to being a champion. But here we are in Spain. Round 5 of the championship of the 18th installment of RPL Tier 2. We can go through your grid real quick while we wait for cars to go out onto the track. We have Fusion and Maxwell, the usual, in the McLaren. We have Mintoki and Lucas Rasmussen, the same Mercedes lineup we've had all season. AMS Devin and Wilson piloting the Red Bulls. 2 Haas's in there. We got Jack MS, and welcome back to the second tier, TSR Cryptic. If I remember right, he is a former Tier 2 champion. He beat Leighton to the championship all the way back on the 21 game cycle when he drove for Mercedes. So welcome back, Cryptic. We got 2 Astons in the field as well. That is Maddie and, well, I thought there was 2 Astons. Maybe there isn't. Oh, well. We got 2 Ferraris out there, and one of them is Josh433. The other is Alan J. Alan J is now in a Ferrari this week. Normally a Haas driver. As we watch Josh leave the pits, he is the first to do so here in qualifying. Of course, being Tier 2, it is a single short 18-minute session for anybody that is new to RPL. Only Tier 1 runs the full Q1, Q2, Q3 format. Second car on track is SV. Third on track is Jack MS. But we'll have one of the big runners be the first to set ourselves a lap time, that being Josh. And Josh hasn't had a half-bad season of his own. He currently sits 6th in the Drivers' Championship on 30 points through 4 races. But he has yet to have a podium. So he will really be looking to get at least 1 podium on the board. Of course, last season, both Ferrari drivers won at least 1 race, and one of those Ferrari drivers turned out to be the champion. Looking unlikely this season for that to be the case, but you never know as Josh sets off on his first flying lap as he barrels into turn 1 at 206 miles an hour into 4th gear. And ooh, that's a missed apex through turn 2. He knew it as well. He's backed out of that one very quickly. We'll try again another time. Which means we'll go over to SV, who is the next car to cross the line to start a flying lap. Then behind him is Jack MS. We'll see what speed SV is able to hit. He hit a top speed of around 211 before he slowed down to about 207 when he was off the overtake button. This time he actually made the apex of turn 2, unlike Josh. And we'll get to the first sector split. It's a 21.8. We'll see how that stacks up with the rest of the field. Through turn 5 we go. SV for Alpine today as we go on board as he comes through turns 7 and 8 here. Gotta be careful on turn 8. It's that little right kink. and it's got a whole lot of sausage curbs that can really punish a driver if they hit them wrong. Pretty much flat out through turn 9, 51.9 through 2 sectors. Turn 3, Josh, he does set a lap time, kept it valid, but of course he backed out, so this will be his first proper run. But let's see what SV is able to do here through the final 2 corners. Turn 13 flat out, turn 14 flat out as well. All flat through the 3rd sector, and it's going to be a 13.9 by SV. Let's see if Jack can go better. He does by 9/10. 13-0 for Jack MS. Amos Devin on a lap, Mentoki on a lap, Alan J on a lap of his own. And we'll go over to Laurel Fusion, championship leader. His teammate invalidated. He'll have to try again. But Fusion has kept it clean through 13 corners, and he keeps it clean through the final corner as well to set a 111.7. That is quite the gauntlet there that he has laid down. Invalid from Alan J. Josh has actually managed to finish the lap this time without missing an apex. We'll see what he's able to do for his first proper lap time. Flat out through the final corner. What is it going to be for him? It's a 12-1. Quite a fair bit off. Lucas Rasmussen, 12-0. Maxwell will try again. Alan J's on a lap. Mentoki on a lap of her own. But first we'll have a look at AMS Devon come through the final corner. Let's see what he's able to do. 12-6. Puts him 4th fastest. Let's go to Mentoki. What is it for her? Just a little bit quicker. 12-4. Goes ahead of Devon up into 4th place. But she needs to find 3/10 if she is to get ahead of Josh. Of course, no Lennon today, so that's a big factor there. Lennon, who is one of the top drivers in the championship, he's not here. Wilson goes 5th fastest. Jack's 6th, by the way. Great effort from him in the V-Carb. Got a few former Tier 1 drivers in the grid today. Cryptic's in there. Red Fire's in there. Maxwell, Jack Miles. A lot of familiar faces from the higher tiers of RPL are in the middle tier today, as Alan J goes into the pits. So let's have a look at Maxwell here as he comes through the final couple corners. Let's see what Maxwell is capable of in that McLaren. Can he mix it up with his teammate Fusion? Here he comes across the line. It's a 12-1, and it's only 4th fastest for Maxwell. Definitely time to be found. There is certainly time to be found there. Let's have a look at them sector times real quick. 21.3 compared to the 21.2 in the first sector. 29.1 in sector 2. 29.0, yeah. Definitely time to be found for the Swedish man. Here comes Red Fire, and here doesn't come Red Fire because he's invalidated, so he'll have to try again. Anybody else on a lap? I don't think so, so we'll watch Red Fire as he's locked up going into turn 1. One would say that is suboptimal for a Red Fire. He comes through the first sector for a 21.6. Not a bad effort from him, being the only car on the track. He is the only one we can look at as he goes through turn 5 and through the kink of turn 6 that might as well not exist. 7 and 8. Keeps it away from those deadly sausage curbs. Heading into turn 9 now, flat out, even for a Williams. DRS activated on the rundown to turn 10. Heavy braking zone, 3rd gear corner. Taking the wider approach, you might see some drivers take a tighter line through there. Ooh, got on that curb. He's gonna might lose a 10th from that. Bit of a suboptimal 3rd sector here from Red Fire. Lifting through the final corner. Let's see what he can do. It's a 13-0 that puts him behind teammate Night Owl. So we'll head back to SV, who is already 3/10 up on his first sector. Big improvement there from the Alpine driver. His teammate Dylan currently sits 9th. Now, we have a Tier 1 race to compare some of these lap times to. Tier 1 also raced in Spain earlier this season, and they had themselves a dry race, so as soon as my phone loads, we can go over some of those lap times, and we can play the comparison game. Here's SV, 8, 9 tenths up through 2 sectors, so clearly made a lot of mistakes on his first run. A 9/10 improvement, about a 13-0 would put him in Red Fire Jack MS territory. If he can find a little bit more time, he could get himself in the mix with Night Owl. But let's see what SV does. And he does find extra time. He's ahead of teammate Dylan with a 1:12.667. Good time from SV. A couple more cars now on laps. Jack MS is out there, but I want to take some time to have a look at TSR Cryptic here. He started the game cycle in a Tier 1 McLaren, and it's really been downhill from there. It just not getting the results that Team Principal Cookie would have wanted, and it's found himself going from where he was in Tier 1. He now sits in a Tier 2 Haas seat today. Cryptic scored 1 podium in his McLaren stint, which was a 2nd place that he achieved at the Bahrain Grand Prix, which some other Tier 1 drivers will consider one of the weaker grids this season. That was a big wiggle through turn 12 there. That will not inspire with much confidence. Barely keeps it valid through the final corner, and it's a 13.5 for Cryptic. Definitely time to find. Speaking of time to find, Alan J needs to find one because he doesn't have a time at all. One of 3 drivers. We have RDST in the other Aston Martin. I genuinely could not tell you who that is. And then we have Yavas in the Sauber today. If I remember right, though, that is Ridian. That's Ridian in the Aston Martin. He has changed his gamer tag, so no need for clarification there. But here comes Alan J. This time, he's kept it valid. He's going to get himself a good lap time in. It's good enough for P7 so far. Decent effort, but there's still going to be some time to find. We got, also, Dylan has a 12.2. Good time from him. Couple cars getting ready to finish lap times, though. Lucas Rasmussen is up a 10th through 2 sectors. Let's see if he can find a little bit of extra time. Can he get into the 11s? He can. 2nd fastest for Lucas Rasmussen. Good time for him. We have a McLaren crossing the line. Fusion has found another 10th. 11.6. It's looking better for the championship leader. Let's turn over to Maxwell now. He's only up by about 2 tenths, a little bit under that. He needs more time than that. A 3/10 improvement could see him in the range of Lucas Rasmussen. 2 tenths only puts him around Mintoki. Let's see if he finds more time. He does. 11.8, exactly 3/10 improvement. He goes ahead of the Mercedes of Rasmussen. Mintoki ends up pitting. We'll have a look at Devin now. Him and Alan J are running together, but Alan already did a time, so he's not on a lap. And actually, Devin isn't on a lap either. Neither is Wilson. Jack's not on a lap. Doesn't look like most of these drivers are on laps. Red Fire's on a lap, though, and as is Ridian. We'll have a look at Ridian first, since he hasn't set a lap time yet, so let's see what Ridian can do here. Driving for Aston Martin today. Normally a Tier 3 driver. Got the call to Tier 2. Been loaned to Aston Martin for the Red Bull Academy. Gear is activated. Going down the back straight into turn 10. 51.7 through 2 sectors. But he has the Williams of, I believe that is Red Fire, right on his neck. And, ooh, he's got on that curb. He's going to lose a bit of time through there. And this is going to frustrate Red Fire. He's going to get all of this dirty air through the final 2 corners. Red will not have wanted that, and he's gone off the road. I believe Red's invalidated. Ridian's done a 14.3. Game over for Red Fire. SV is on a lap as well. But he's a 10th down. And he's actually the only other car that's really on a lap right now, so not too much to follow there. So, Current running order, we got a McLaren 1-2, a Mercedes 3-4, Josh 5th, Devin 6th, Alan J 7th, Dylan 8th, Wilson 9th, and Jack Miles rounding out the top 10. So, the usual suspects you would say up front, and you got some decent midfield showings, especially from Dylan, who is, he's 0.3 faster than Wilson's Red Bull at the moment. So it is looking quite nice for them. Remember, Tier 3 also did a race here last season. So you can use those lap times as you will as well. And here's Ridian. I believe he's coming into the pits. Yes, he is. Which means we have Jacksta getting ready to start a lap. We have Jack Miles on an out lap as well. Now, let's consult Tier 3, because last season they raced at Spain. It was round 6. Pole position there was a 112.0, and Jacksta's pitted, so we'll go to Jack Miles, who was on an outlap. Pole there was Dylan with a 12.0. AMS Devin also had a 12.0 of his own. Devin currently sat at a 12.0 at this moment, but Wilson, he had a 12.2. He's at a 12.5 right now. They gotta find some time, the Tier 3 drivers from last season. There is definitely room for improvement for those guys if they want to mix it up with the front runners of the second tier. The improvement's there, but they just need to find a little bit more. But here's Jack coming out of the final corner to start a lap. Only guy on a lap at the moment, as he just started. Let's see what Jack can do, the former Tier 1 driver, former Tier 1 champion. As he comes through turn 1, he'll go on board all over that curb through turn 2. Could be a bit of a deadly curb, that one. You hit that curb just a little bit of a wrong angle, you could find yourself losing time. And that's exactly what's happened to Jack. He is 0.03 down. Looked like he had a small slide through turn 4 as well. Trying to keep it clean here. Through 7 and 8. Looked very tidy there for Jack. We'll see if he can find some improvement in the second sector. Even the V-carbs are flat out through turn 9, just showing how much downforce they got in this game. And it's only marginal improvement here from Jack. 300's up now. And he might encounter a bit of traffic here. You got the two Haas's up ahead, but I don't think he'll run into them. But here comes Jack coming through the final corner. Let's see if he can find a little bit more improvement. And it won't matter. He has drifted wide through the final corner. It's an invalid lap time, and he didn't improve anyway. Not what he would have wanted. Cryptic on a lap, Jack MS on a lap. Lero Fusion has just started one, as has Alan J. We'll focus on the front runners here, because this is the final minute of qualifying. Will Fusion be able to put in another lap to get himself another pole position this season? Using the short way through turn 3, has he found time? He has. Purple Sector 1, 400's up on his previous lap time. Slight lock up through turn 5. That could cost Fusion just a slight amount of time. But let's see if he can crawl it back through 7 and 8. Probably could have gotten a little bit more of that curve through turn 6. But this has overall been a very clean, tidy lap from Fusion. He might encounter some traffic here through the final few corners. The V-carb gets out of the way. He's on the sausage curbs. He's 200s up. This is not much improvement. He'll have to hope the others behind him don't improve by an insane margin. Here comes Fusion. He'll be the first of the big names to finish their lap. Here he comes through the final corner. The battery's depleted. Has he found time? He has. 11.5 for him. Alan J finds time as well. We'll turn over to Josh now. He is 0.2 up. He's looking at a 0.7 at the moment if he can keep the time up. He's out of ERS now. Session's over. Flying laps count. Here comes Josh. Second fastest for the Ferrari driver. That's a very good lap time. Here comes McTokey. Can she get in the mix? No, she can't. 11.9. No improvement there. Wilson jumps up to P8. Here comes Maxwell, though. This is the one, and he's invalidated. Maxwell's invalidated, and it would have been second fastest for him. Instead, it's third, and it could be fourth if we see improvement. There is, but there's not enough improvement for Lucas Rasmussen. And that's going to do it for qualifying. We still have a couple drivers on lap times here. We got Dylan on a time. Haas lets him through and lags my screen somehow. But Alpine have had a great showing here in qualifying, 9 and 10, and Dylan has a chance here to put a thorn in the Red Bull's side if he can find a bit more improvement. He's got a lot of ERS remaining here through the final corner. He's kept it valid. Can he beat one of the Red Bulls? No, he cannot, but not by much. It's only 300s between him and Wilson. Remember, Dylan got pole in Tier 3 a season ago, so that is a decent effort for the Alpine. But once again, Fusion pole, Josh second, Maxwell in third. There's the two Mercs of Lucas Rasmussen and Mintoki rounding out the top 5. Alan P6, then the two Red Bulls, and the two Alpines rounding out your top 10. And that's going to do it for qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix here in Tier 2. It's pole for Fusion, yet again. His second pole of the season for Laurel Fusion. That puts him level with teammate Maxwell on 2 poles for the season. Only other car with a pole position is Blonde, who I believe took pole in Japan. Quickly, we'll get the rest of the grid, though, to make Exo happy. Jackson didn't even set a lap time there in the Sauber. He's starting dead last. But Fusion, Josh, Maxwell, Rasmussen, Mintoki, Allen, Devin, Wilson, Dylan, SV, and Redfire, Cryptic, Jack, Night Owl. Your top 14. Looking like a dry race here, so I don't expect any rain unless somebody says something. And I definitely don't expect any of these people on softs to stay on that tire. It is such a bad race tire, and you'd be killing your race if you ran it. 19 cars on the grid today, only missing a singular V-carb. Jack will be running by his lonesome in that car. These drivers will get their fuel set up, get their strategies ready, and then we'll be good to go. And, ooh. So, there is a chance of rain here. Apparently, around mid-race, we might see a little bit of rain. So, this could mix things up. I actually wasn't expecting that. Alrighty. So, there is the potential for some rain, some wet weather, some moisture, some sprinkly sprinkles to mix things up here in this Grand Prix. Most drivers, actually, we have a huge mix of tire selections here. Hards, mediums, couple soft runners too. We got Ridian and Red Fire. Cryptic last second moved over. Now it's just Red Fire on that soft tire. Mate, if I were you, I'd get off that as soon as possible. But we'll be going momentarily. If anybody wants to shoot some predictions in the chat, feel free to do so. Dry, wet, dry, Maddie says in chat, so this could really be an exciting race with weather conditions mixing things up. And it's time to find out if the weather will mix things up in 5 lights time. It's time to bring the action, and Yavas brings the action too early. He's jumped the start, but it's even Stevens. Never mind. Josh has not gotten a good getaway. Fusion has. Fusion leads into turn 1. Contact with the teammates. Maxwell, for the second week in a row, has had a slide. And for the second week in a row, Mintoki's been caught out by it as well. Maxwell had a moment. Mintoki got caught out by it as well. They're scattering in the midfield, side by side with the Alpine. That's Dylan and Cryptic going side by side. Cryptic up to 10th. Off the road goes Dylan. He'll lose a place to Night Owl as well. But for the second race in a row, the Mercedes Academy coming together in one form or another. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. That's a mistake from Alan J. Down the inside goes Wilson. Wilson gets the place. And oh boy, action-packed there in turn 1. Jack gets through on red fire as well. Fusion leads the race. Josh is second. Lucas Rasmussen in third. Devin in fourth. What drama at the start of this race. The big mover on lap 1 is Jack up 5. Mintoki the loser down 12. SV got caught out by the nonsense as well. He's down in 18th. Yava's pits from last place. But goodness me. It's all kicking off here at the start. Jack MS gets by Ridian. That's for P13. Looks like he's running one of them special Haas liveries. I think he's running the Silverstone livery. I freaking love that car. Anyways, battle for third between Rasmussen and Devin. But that first lap, it looked like Maxwell had a huge slide through turn 1. And it looked like him and Mintoki might have made contact once again for the second week in a row. At least that's what it looked like on my screen. Would have to look back at it. But everybody line and stern here at the front of the field. The entire pack is in a DRS train. Mintoki gets by Jacksta for P15. And for the second race in a row, it's a comeback drive for the Mercedes driver, who once again from last place has ground to make up. That's the Haas going off. Huge crash from Ridian. He tried to avoid the Haas going off, and Ridian is out of this race. Safety car deployed. That was a huge crash from Ridian, and he is out. Safety car deployed. That'll neutralize everything. That was a massive accident from Ridian. He tried to avoid the spinning Haas, and he absolutely destroyed the wall by pit entry. That was a huge accident. First DNF of the day is Ridian. This will save Yavas, who just pitted. He'll pit again, back onto his medium tires he started on. But we have the neutralized field here on lap 3 of the race. Fusion, still your leader. Josh is in second. Lucas Rasmussen third. AMS Devin in fourth. And Maxwell rounding out your top 5. An action-packed first couple laps here in Spain. Some drivers needing some comeback drives here. Mintoki, one of them. SV, one of them. And I think Jack MS lost himself a few places off the start as well. And how about Jack? He's actually made up quite a few places here on the start. He's up 5. Jacksta himself is up 5 after starting dead last. Into the pits comes Jack MS from the back of the field, trying to get off of the tires he's on. But good start there from the V-car to put himself into the points. The safety car picks up Fusion, who is probably looking forward to this safety car here. As long as he can keep the pack behind him, he should be able to pull away on those hard tires once they become the better tire at probably around lap 8, lap 7-ish, those parts will probably be the better race tires. So, advantage Fusion if he can keep that car where he is. Also, expect to see Alan J when we go green. Expect him to maybe make some places up as he's on hards as well. Once those mediums die out, he should be able to get by those Red Bulls, maybe the Mercedes. Max will try to get through as well. But Spain is not the easiest place to make overtakes, so anybody thinking for a comeback drive or trying to get some moves done, they gotta pick the right time and the right place to do it, because there's a lot of places where going for a move is certainly questionable. So, you gotta find the right time and the right place. And got some weird fucky going on here at the front of the field. SV has let 2 cars through. Mintoki's up to 13th now. Jack's to 14th. SV now in P15, unless I missed something. I might have missed something. Maybe SV just accidentally passed cars. I don't know. But lap 5 of this Grand Prix. Safety car is out. After a big crash from Ridian, saw him retire on the, I believe, the second lap of this race, trying to avoid a spinning Jack MS. He ended up crashing into a wall himself. He zigs when he should have zagged, unfortunately, but that is racing. Safety car should come in at the end of this lap. Depends on if Yavas can catch up. He might be able to, but I think the safety car might just come in at the end of the lap anyway. I think it's been 3 laps, has it? Nope, it has not. So we'll keep going. We might be going for yet another lap here. And more nonsense happening here. Dylan has been overtaken by Mintoki, and he's been overtaken by Jacksta as well. I don't know what's going on there. Looked like the Alpine let the Mercedes go, which, if you're doing that under safety car conditions, you cannot do that. That would be a penalty if that's the case, unless he went off track, made a mistake or something. But into the pits comes Dylan. He's gonna get off those hard tires. I don't know if I quite agree with this strategy choice, but I'm not the one in the car, so not my problem. We'll see what tire he elects to go for. It's going to be another set of hards for him. He'll try to take those further into the race. He'll queue up at the back of the field. As we continue to run behind the safety car here on lap 6 of 33, safety car has no choice but to come in at the end of this lap. So we should be ready for racing action very soon. Dylan will be able to catch up to the field. So we'll have all 18 remaining drivers in the pack and ready to go racing again. Few midfield surprises here. We got Jack and the V-Carb in P8. We got Cryptic in 10th, Red Fire in 9th, but they have basically all of the front-running cars ahead of them, other than Mintoki, who had her moment at the start. Safety cars in this lap. The whole field basically weaving, trying to gain some tire temperature. But Fusion will dictate the pace. Fusion will dictate when we get this race going again. Safety car will enter the pits. He's got a clear track ahead of him. When does Fusion decide to go? Coming through 13 now. He's bolted. He's caught the Ferrari off guard. Green flag back in the air. We are racing again. It's the start he would have wanted. It is exactly the start Fusion wanted. He's ahead of Josh. Mentoki's ahead of Night Owl in the back as well. Good start for the South Korean driver. And that is the only move made here on the safety car restart. Everybody else stays in the same place, or do they? I saw some moves towards the back. Dylan's got past Yava's, and I thought I saw the Sauber of Jacksta looking for a move as well. I don't think that happened, though. Back up front, a move potentially here for second place. Rasmussen, very close. Devin and Maxwell, wheel to wheel. Here we go, Devin and Maxwell, and Devin stays ahead of Maxwell there. Keeping fourth place is AMS Devin. Looking for a podium in Tier 2. Devin would absolutely love that. But there's a lot of laps to go. And there's a lot of racing left here. We're only on lap 7. Jack running very close to Alan J too. So here we go with Jack. Maybe he could think about a move if he could get a little bit closer. TRS now activated. Cryptic losing time to Mentoki. Mentoki gaining all the time. This might be the move to see her back into the points. Here comes Mentoki down the inside. Position made. And Rasmussen has spun out of turn 2. Rasmussen spun, and it's a gift for Devin, Maxwell, Wilson, and Allen. They all move up a place. Devin now onto the podium. A spin from Rasmussen leaves him down in 7th now. Another move made. Mentoki past Red Fire. That's for 9th place. She is making the moves quickly here, trying to get herself back into contention for this race. But up front, a crucial mistake from the other Mercedes puts them 7th and 9th. That's not what Cookie, the team principal, would want in the grand scheme of the championship. And Josh is running very close to Laurel Fusion. The McLarens, for the first time in what it feels like, for the first time in 2 weeks, these McLarens might be vulnerable. We might see a move for the lead here. Josh is close. Fusion having to break the toe. Josh is using all of his battery, trying to make this move. He zigs, he zags, he goes to the outside. He can't get the move done. Fusion holds the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. He'll hold it for just a little bit longer. Nobody has been able to pry the lead off of McLaren in the last 2 races. They've been an unstoppable force, and we've not had an immovable object to counteract them. Fusion leads by 6.5. It's a DRS train with the top 7 in this race. Jack's fallen out of it. He has a train from P8 to P12. Jack MS gets himself a penalty. Maddie has a penalty as well. Few penalties picked up here in these early stages of the restart phase. And Dylan and Maddie going wheel to wheel at the back of the field. That is a move for Dylan. Remember, he pitted during the safety car window, so he can go a lot longer than a lot of these drivers. Maybe he is anticipating the rain and a potential move to the intermediate tires. We'll see how hard that rain comes down. Doesn't look like we'll see any moves here, or will we? We got Josh looking for a move. Can't do it. Mentoki, though, did get the move done. A couple more overtakes being made here. Alpine through. That's SV, I think. And through goes Night Owl on Cryptic as well. P11 belongs to the Williams driver. Cryptic losing a spot. Quite a few moves made there into turn 1 on that lap. Devin now thinking about a move on Josh. All these guys around the same in terms of ERS levels, so it's going to be down to driver skill to get these overtakes made. And you can see the clouds rolling in from the east, I believe that is. We got some clouds and the potential for that rain. It was a dry, wet, dry, according to Maddie in the chat. And that could be exactly what we're seeing here. As Josh runs only 4/10 behind, or Josh runs 7/10 behind Fusion. Devin runs 4/10 behind Josh. But with this DRS train, doesn't look like any moves are going to be made. Nobody's close enough. Mentoki sets the fastest lap of the race now that she's in clean air. And here's a move. That is Red Fire getting by Jack. And that's another move. The Alpine of Dylan going down the inside of Jacksta. That's the move made. 14th place for the Alpine. Of course, Dylan on fresh, hard tires, so he'll be going pretty far into this race. We have a look at the constructor standings through 4 rounds. Alpine, only 3 points on the campaigns so far through the first couple rounds. Overtake made for Jack MS. He's got by Jacksta as well. It's the Jack and Jack show here for P15. And it's the Jack driving for the American team that prevails in that battle. As we watch these lower reaches of the midfield, I don't want to call them back markers. It feels kind of rude to say that, but they are running towards the back today. Not too much going on. Sauber only have 2 points to their name this season, and they currently run P16 and P18. Back to the front of this field, Josh and Fusion looking to get closer and closer. Does he think about it? No, he does not. He'll wait another time. And Wilson has lost DRS to the top 4. So it's Wilson, Allen, and Rasmussen having their own battle. Mentoki trying to get into said battle. She's 1.3 seconds back. Remember, she did set the fastest lap of the race recently. If I could find out where... There it is. Yep, she still has the fastest lap of this race. So no moves made on that lap. So we'll continue to watch these cars fly through the field. Got the DRS train here with Red Fire. And ooh, we've had a bit of a oopsie whoopsie. It's Jacksta. He's gone off and he has spun in turn 5. And would you look at that? I can see the sprinkles on his halo. It is now raining. Now what do these drivers do? Do you wait the rain out or do you box for inters? They stay out this time. Look how close Josh is. He might try to take advantage of this wet weather to potentially go for the lead of this race. Both drivers abusing the overtake button. Here comes Josh, gaining all the time. Looks down the inside, fakes to the outside. Can't get the move done. Once again, Fusion holding strong on the defense to keep the place. And now this train between Wilson, Allen, and Rasmussen heating up as well. SV gets past Cryptic for 12th too. That's towards the back of this field. But once again, Josh tried to have a look. Could not get the move done. Once again, almost saw a move there for P5. Allen trying to get through on Wilson. But despite these mediums, probably at this point being a slightly worse tire, we're not seeing that fall off, and it could be down to a driver's skill thing in these wet conditions. It's all down to instinct and their decision whether they want to pit for inters or hold out this rain to stay on the slick tires. We'll see what they do. Once again, Josh has used a fair amount of battery to try and go for the move a lap ago, and he's lost a lot of time. It's now only 8/10. He will not be close enough to go for this overtake. Could potentially see a move here. Red Fire elects to come into the pits. Here comes Alan J. down the inside of Wilson. Alan is up into 5th place now. Ferrari run both cars in the top 5. Ooh, a big wiggle there from Alan. And now let's see what some of these drivers are doing here. And I see inters. There's intermediate tires going on these cars. Inters on Maddie. It is slicks for SV. He's going to wait this rain out and hope it dries up. As is Jacksta. Side by side with Cryptic and Dylan. These two going wheel to wheel now. Going into turn 5. It's the inside line, and now it's the inside line for Dylan. He's ahead of Cryptic now. Or maybe he was still ahead of him and I just wasn't paying attention because I don't know. But we got cars on inters, and I am very interested to see what these gaps look like. Red Fire is closing in on Yavas by quite a bit here. And the gap is going up a lot to SV. Now 3.4, 3.5 seconds, 3.6. The Inter, at this stage, looks like a better tire, and you can see it. In come the leaders. Devin stays out. Maxwell stays out. Wilson stays out. We got both Mercs double stacking here. Lucas Rasmussen's in. Mintoki's in. It's Inters for Fusion and Josh. What is it going to be? It's Inters for Lucas. Mintoki is being severely held up by her teammate, but it's Inters for her as well. Top 6 stay on slick tires. More and more cars electing to jump ship to the Inters. Yavas stays out again to stay on the medium compound tire. These guys on mediums, though, they'll have to pit soon. They won't last forever. SV also, remember, he pitted, but he pitted for a set of hards rather than a set of intermediate tires. These conditions will certainly be getting treacherous for these guys, but if you look at it, DRS still enabled. Stewards, the game stewards thinking it is still, oh, never, as I say it, DRS is now disabled. That's normally the cue. It is time to jump off of these tires. Devin and Maxwell are 1 and 2 at this moment, but we expect them to pit for a set of intermediate tires, depending on how long this rain lasts. Devin stays out. Maxwell stays out. These guys are committing to staying out. Wilson's in. What does Night Owl do? Moves made. Cars in the gravel. Cryptic's gone off now. Cryptic into the gravel. Cryptic's had a moment there. He is on slick tires. He'll have to jump off those now. Wilson's on to Inters. And Night Owl, he's going to go onto a set of intermediates as well. Fusion. Net leader. Josh right behind him. This is the battle. Lucas Rasmussen could put himself in a net podium here. Yavas stays out another lap, trying to hold out on those intermediate tires, on the slick tires, hoping that this rain goes away, but you can see that rain. It is falling continuously. Fusion almost drifting his way through turn 4. Gap, 12.3 seconds, 12 seconds. That gap is closing rapidly. This is starting to look like it is not the right decision to stay out on slick tires. Top 3 in this race have gambled on this strategy, praying it works. But Fusion has gained almost 6 seconds. It's almost side by side through turn 11 there. Maxwell and Alan J going at it. 8 seconds now. Mintoki gets past Yavas, who's still losing ground on the slick compounds. These 3, now it's these 1. Devin stays out. Maxwell and Allen still gonna tough this one out. Maxwell and Allen, never mind, they're pitting. I can't English today. But all the battling is happening back here. Jack's ahead of Mintoki. Night Owl's ahead of Yavas now, who is looking like he has made he's made a bad choice here. And would you look at Alan J? He is playing the risky strategy like a few of these others are. SV pitted for slicks, and now Alan J joins him. Rather than pitting for the Inters, they're going to wait this out, and they're side by side coming out of the pit exit. Maxwell overtakes Alan J on the pit exit. I don't know if that's legal, but if it is, that's a bloody good move. And speaking of bloody good move, how about Night Owl trying to go around the outside of the McLaren? Maxwell shows him the door. That was never going to happen. And we're about to see a move for the lead here. Devin has tried his best, but his best was not good enough. The decision to stay on the slick tires backfires. And it's Fusion and Josh in the lead of this race. But here comes Josh down the inside into turn 10. He's trying to pry the lead away from McLaren. Can he get it done? They're still side by side. Fusion has the inside line through turn 12. Now he's got the inside as well for these next 2 corners. Can he hold on? Still side by side. Through a part of the track you would never go wheel to wheel in. The great equalizer of the wet conditions has benefited Ferrari. They've temporarily taken the lead of the race. Through goes Josh. Fusion trying to battle back. Ferrari versus McLaren. Down the inside goes Josh. He's got the lead. He officially has the lead of this race. Mitoki penalty. And now Josh leads the Spanish Grand Prix. Unbelievable stuff from the Ferrari driver. He now sits P1. Fusion second. 5 seconds back is Rasmussen. Wilson fourth. And because they pitted at the right time, Red Fire and Jack run 5th and 6th, respectively. Allen and SV, their strategy to tough it out on slicks has not worked out. Out of the points goes both of them. Wow. Alan J now runs in last place for Ferrari. It's going to be a very tricky time for him to claw any of that back. But we have a bit of a battle here brewing. Mitoki, Maxwell, and Night Owl battling this one out. Here comes Night Owl down the inside. He's got past the McLaren, his Night Owl. Taking advantage of these conditions, the Williams drivers look mighty quick in this rain. Maxwell trying that outside line, but it only costs him to lose some time. Now Night Owl might even look to pass Mitoki here as the rain continues to fall, as it gets wetter and wetter. You can see the standing water now. Does Night Owl think for a move on Mitoki? He's got better ERS than she does, but I expect them both to boost this entire straight. Here comes Night Owl. Tucks out of the slipstream, and he tucks back in. No move made there. Doesn't look like we're going to see any moves. Devin, down in 14th now. He was as high as around 4th or 3rd at one point. Now he runs 14th. The gamble did not pay off, unfortunately for him. It's worked a treat for Josh, though, who we talked about him in pre-race, has yet to score a podium this season, and now, not only is he in a podium place, he's in the driver's seat to potentially go for the win, his first win of the season. I believe his last technically victory, he won at Saudi Arabia, the last race on the 24 game cycle, he won at Saudi Arabia. Night Owl's past Mitoki, by the way. Night Owl has some incredible pace here. He's passed both Mitoki and Maxwell on pure pace. Through on both of them. 5th and 7th for Williams. That is a huge day for him. And a huge day for the whole team at that. And Red Fire is only 1.8 seconds away from Wilson for 4th. So there's the potential for even more there. Williams only have 8 points to their name so far. A day like this would definitely propel them ahead of the Aston Martin team. Aston sit 5th on 14. And just Red Fire finishing 5th would be enough for them. But Night Owl threw on Mitoki. Mitoki looks like she's thinking about a defense on Maxwell here. She does have a 3-second penalty to her name for track limits. Gap 9/10 for the lead, though. Fusion, probably a bit of a foreign feeling for him these last couple weeks. Just dominant drives the last 2 races. Would have finished second in Hungary if it weren't for Maxwell having a spin out of turn 4. But after the spin, he cruised to victory there. Cruised to victory in Silverstone. If he could win this race, this is not going to be anywhere near as smooth sailing as his previous wins have been. And seeing how quick that car's been this season, this would be a mighty fantastic drive from Ferrari if they can win it. There's still a lot of racing left to go in this Grand Prix. Anything can happen. And there's Mentoki and Maxwell once again running close to each other, but no moves made. Devin's stuck behind Cryptic too, but Cryptic has no battery. Devin has a ton of battery. Could see a move here. Does he think about it on the inside? No, he does not. He knows he's got to get this move done sooner rather than later, though. Every lap he is stuck in 14th place is a lap of just pain for him. And oh, he's looking down the inside in turn 3. That was a late move. He got to the inside of Cryptic. Now he's on the inside in turn 4. This would be a mighty overtake if he could get the job done. Red Bull on Haas, and it's still wheel to wheel. Cryptic on the inside through turn 5. Tries to get the traction out. Inside for 6 and 7. And Cryptic still holding on to the place. But this is not over yet between these two. Devin has the ERS advantage. And that's not what Fusion wants. He's just got a penalty. Laryl Fusion gets a 3-second penalty. And that, for the time being, will take him out of contention for the win of this race. Gap's 8/10, but luckily 6 seconds to the car behind him. That will help him. That'll help him at least secure second place here. But we'll continue to watch this battling. But we also have Maxwell and Mentoki. Maxwell has been looking for a move the last couple laps. He's got the move done on the Mercedes. Mentoki down to 9th. Maxwell up to 8th. Now the battle continues between Cryptic and Devin. Devin was on the outside, but Cryptic still holding the place. Here comes Devin. He's going to try and hang it around the outside. That's never going to happen there for Devin. Still stuck behind the Haas. Great defense from Cryptic there. And we also have another two-car battle brewing here. This time, it's in the higher reaches of the points. Redfire versus Jack. Redfire's fallen off from Wilson. And, ooh, a bit deep there from Red. This could give Jack a top 5 finish here. And this would be a fantastic drive here for RB. They could use all the points they can get. Look how close Jack is, though. Just 2/10 there. RB sat on 4 points so far this season. Tied for 7th in the Constructors' Championship. This could be the move, though. Using all of the slipstream to the outside now. Here comes contact made between Redfire and Jack Miles. Contact was made. Luckily, they keep it together. And Jack has to remain in P6 for the time being. Meanwhile, these two again! He was going off the track looking for a move. Cryptic on Devin. Or Devin on Cryptic. These two have been really going at it these last few laps. Battle to the death for P13. And battle to the death for last place back here. SV, Allen, and Yavas battling for P16 at the very back. But we'll focus on this battle right here between Red and Jack. Ooh, wow, big sliding moment for Redfire that could be vulnerable for a potential move for Jack Miles. Jack is going to buy his time, though. And Fusion's got another penalty! 6 seconds worth of penalties for Fusion! That's going to really take him out of contention. If he wasn't in contention now, he is sure as heck out of it now. And Wilson, a penalty of his own. 2 drivers at the front of this field getting penalties. And might I add, the rain has stopped here with 10 laps to go in this race. There's no more rain. Maxwell pits from 9th. A little bit of contact made yet again between Jack and Red. Maxwell pits for slicks immediately as this rain stops. Redfire holding on to the place. But once again, these two, Cryptic and Devin, looking for moves on each other. And even with all this battling, it looks like Cryptic has managed to catch Maddie, who runs 11th. It'd be a very good day for him if he could potentially score points. But with the penalty he has, it looks unlikely. Night Owl has also caught Redfire and Jack Miles here in this battle for 5th place on the road. Cryptic and Devin, wheel to wheel again. Once again, Cryptic had the inside through turn 5, and it's the place for him. And looks like he might have pitted too early, Maxwell, because Jacksta has breezed past. Looks like Maxwell was pitted too early, and that'll really cost him here. With 8 laps to go here in this race, it now comes down to, do you pit one more time for the slick tires, or do you pull the enders on a dry track strategy? We've had a bit of a spin. That is an Alpine, and it's the Alpine of SV. And is that a safety car? That is a safety car. The safety cars come out in the late stages of this race. SV has had a crash in turn 3. You can see the wing damage, and because of it, the safety car has come out in these late stages of the Grand Prix. And I don't think this has helped Maxwell one bit. The track will get better for other drivers. Devin's through. Jack MS almost got through, but Maxwell will get ahead of him. All these drivers going for medium tires. Safety car deployed. The second safety car of this race, caused by SV, into the wall out of turn 3. I saw the minimap. It was an Alpine off the road, and the safety car came out. Now, you expect all these front runners to pit. Yeah. In comes Josh. In comes Fusion. And anybody at this stage with a penalty, it's really not looking good for them. In comes Rasmussen, Wilson as well. Anybody that is on a set of intermediates will be coming in. Josh has pitted for soft tires, by the way. It's a bit of a gamble here for Josh, but if the safety car stays out for a while, which we are expecting with how spread out this field is, we got some jumbled up strategies here. We'll see what the midfielders do as well. The Jack Red Fire Night Owl scrap that's been going on. Let's see what tires they go for. It's going to be mediums for Red. Night Owl has to wait. Through goes Jack. He goes through Night Owl. Mediums for him. Dylan's pitted. Mediums for him as well. Mediums for Maddie. Cryptic on mediums. So it's only Lucas Rasmussen and Josh that have pitted for soft tires. This is risky from them. But those look like brand new tires as well. I can't tell if those are new tires on Lucas, but those look like new tires on Josh. He'll have the advantage for all of like 3 laps, and then it's going to be down to him to defend from Fusion. But you also have to think, we got penalties in the mix here, and as it stands when the penalties are applied, Red Fire is looking at a potential podium here if he can hold off Jack and Night Owl. Williams could be on for a podium here in this race. I could not tell you the last time Williams had a podium in Tier 2. I can't imagine it was recent, though. If I'm thinking Season 11 Saudi Arabia, when Owen scored a miraculous podium for Williams on the 2023 game cycle. That's what I'm thinking, because we haven't had any sort of Williams podiums on this game cycle. Not for Tier 2, at least. We might even have a Williams podium in yesterday's Tier 3 race. It wasn't streamed, but RPL Savage put in a fantastic effort to finish 4th for Williams, and there could be potential penalties applied which would put him on the podium, which would be a fantastic effort for RPL Savage to get a Williams podium. Everybody loves to see it. But there is a potential to have one of those today. We'll have a look at the penalty situation. 9 seconds for Laryl Fusion. He is out of this mix, for sure. But Wilson's 3 does not help his situation here. Safety car stays out for another lap. All this does is help the 2 soft runners of Josh and Lucas. Does Fusion play the team game here and let the Academy teammate through so he has a chance at winning his first ever Tier 2 race? What a job that would be from Lucas Rasmussen. And Lucas is another one of those drivers who doesn't have a podium to his name. So he could be on for his first Tier 2 podium and a first Tier 2 win if you can get past Fusion and Josh. But that Ferrari, you know it's got some pace if he has the ability to pass that McLaren of Fusion. But he is out of this mix. He's not going to win this race with 9 seconds of penalties. That is just not going to happen. Wilson with a 3 pretty much tanks his chances. And if these midfield cars can stay in the mix, we have the chance for a midfield podium. Whether it's Red, whether it's Jack, whether it's Night Owl, the chance is there. And for Jack's term, RB have had a horrible run in Tier 2 in terms of their constructors' results. 1 point in the entirety of Tier 2 last season. They have 4 points to their name this season. It's not been a good run for them on this game cycle. And I cannot remember the last time RB have been on the podium, but whatever, who cares? Safety car's in this lap, and it is all down to Josh to get the job done here. He has 5 laps between himself and a checkered flag for his first podium, his first win of the Tier 2 season. He's got to keep Fusion behind. Can he do it? As we look at the back of the Ferrari. And he goes at about the same time Fusion did on his restart. Green flag back in the air. We are racing once again as Josh tries to break the toe immediately on Fusion. Here we go. Into turn 1. Potential move made here for Jack Miles on Red Fire. Red defends. Red holds 5th place for the time being. Maddie gets a penalty. Devin gets a penalty. All the penalties being given out here at the start of this restart. But it's all even Stevens here at the front. Jack desperately looking for a move here on Red Fire. And he's got Dylan as well looking for a move too. Everybody trying to find something. Here comes Jack. Here he looks for a move down the inside. Contact made. The room wasn't left for... He didn't leave space. They're both off the road. Night Owl goes through into 5th place. And Red, he didn't leave the space for Jack Miles. That would be a penalty for Red. At least it's what it looks like to me. He did not leave the space, and that is going to cost him dearly as towards the back of the field. Alan J trying to go around the outside of Maddie. He successfully does so. Jack MS trying to do the same, and I think he'll be able to do so. I think he did. I think he got the job done. Yeah, Maddie threw on Jack MS. Back up front. Josh leads. Fusion. He's a second away. DRS now activated. And Lucas Rasmussen, he's not out of the woods just yet here, because he has not had the restart he would have wanted. He does have Wilson on his back, but with Wilson having a penalty, and now Night Owl and Red both get penalties of their own with 4 laps to go. The potential for midfield podiums is basically gone as Devin gets through on Maxwell. Maxwell falls out of the points now. McLaren have had an absolute stinker here. Fusion has had a great day, but 9 seconds of penalties. Maxwell has made a few poor strategic decisions that have left him way out of position. He is now in 11th place, but luckily without a penalty to his name, which leaves Jack in 6th place, but that'll easily turn into P4 and maybe P3, but Night Owl has lost DRS to Wilson, which will mean Jack will lose ground to Laurel Fusion and Wilson. Remember, it's only a 3-second for Wilson, so you have a lot of stuff to think about here. But Fusion's thinking about a move for the lead of this race. It may not be Tote for the win, but it's the win on track. Through goes Laurel Fusion. He's taken the lead on track for this race, but Josh leads on penalties when they get applied. 1.7 seconds the gap between Wilson and Night Owl. The more that gap grows, the less chance Jack has of holding on to a podium. At the moment, 2 seconds between the two of them. That would be the podium for Jack. He's got to stay within 3 seconds unless Wilson gets another penalty. He's got a 3 to his name. Jack just has to keep it clean. And a P4 is still a fantastic effort. SV gets a penalty. Soft tires fading, though. Wilson might think of a move on Lucas Rasmussen. And the DRS definitely helps him. The gap growing. I believe it's about 2.1 seconds now between Wilson and Jack. Starting to look unlikely, but the chance is still on for him. As he sits behind Night Owl, he's got to get this move done soon. He needs this move if he wants a hope for a podium. Using the battery, using as much as he can. We've had a spin. Maxwell has gone around. Maxwell goes around, or he's had a moment of some sorts. He drops to 13th now. Allen swoops around the lapped car, and he gets past Cryptic as well. 8 drivers have left without penalties. Only less than half the grid have gotten through this race without a penalty, with 2 laps to go. Josh is about to fall out of DRS of Fusion, but it won't matter. He'll win this race off of penalties if he can just hold on for another lap and a half. And would you look at the gap here? 2.4, and then only 0.2. It's around 2.7, 2.8 seconds for Jack. It might be getting a bit desperate at this stage. Jack running out of time to get this move done to have a shot at the podium. 1 more lap for these guys to settle it. Fusion is going to come across the line now. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Aramco. He might win this race on track, but it will not be off penalties when they get applied. Here comes Wilson, looking for a move on Lucas Rasmussen. Not done for him. Here comes Jack. This is the move he needs. He can't spend too much time battling Night Owl. Jack swoops around the outside. Jack is through. Red Fire on Mintoki now. Mintoki gets past Red Fire. Jack, he got the move done, but the gap is 3.1 seconds. He needs to find some time here. Wilson might be stuck in a little bit of dirty air. That could help Jack, but the gap is rising. 3.2, 3.3 seconds. That won't be enough. As it stands, he'll just barely miss out on a podium, which just, that blows for him. He's driven a fantastic race, as has Fusion. A great race for him, but 9 seconds of penalties will do it in for him. He'll win this race on track, but we turn to Josh 433. Ferrari haven't won since round 1 this season. Fusion wins on track, but out of the final turn, he's kept it clean, and it's going to be a win for Josh 433. Josh wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Lucas Rasmussen, 2nd place. Wilson takes 3rd by only 0.2 over Jack Miles. A valiant effort for Jack to finish 4th. Fusion dropped to 5th. He's finished in the top 5 despite 9 seconds of penalties. But what an effort from Jack Miles. He did everything he could to to at least get on the podium today. He did what he could, but it just wasn't enough. There's your race rundown. Josh wins. SV fastest lap at the very end. Jack driver of the day. Mitoki most overtakes. Cleanest driver Rasmussen. I agree with the game. Jack driver of the day. Easily. Josh wins this race. Lucas is in second. His first ever podium in Tier 2. Wilson third. Jack in fourth. Easily that driver of the day choice. Fusion drops to fifth after 9 seconds of penalties. Dylan, a great effort to finish in 6th place for Alpine. Alan J, he was last after the pit stops for the rain. He finished his 7th. Great recovery. Mintoki 8th. And Williams only 9 and 10 when penalties are applied. And Maxwell, no points in the McLaren. Tragedy for him. And that, my friends, will do it for RPL Tier 2 today. Josh played a very clean race. The only driver in, I believe, the last 2 weeks to get past a McLaren off of pace. Not on strategy, but on pace. He got by Laurel Fusion when the track started to get wet. And he kept it clean. No penalties for him. And that's how you win races. Laurel Fusion could not keep it clean. Josh did. And that's why he's your winner today. And a great effort by Lucas Rasmussen to take a first ever Tier 2 podium for Mercedes. And Wilson, the Tier 3 champion, did great to finish third for Red Bull. Jack was so very close. 2 tenths away from winning a podium. Maybe not winning, but scoring a podium for VCarb, which hasn't happened in a while. Not since the 24 game cycle when the car was actually good. But for VCarb, that is their best result since Imola season 15, I think. No, season 16. It's Imola season 16, the last time VCarb had a top 4 result. That was achieved by, well, myself. So, but overall today, that was an incredibly action-packed race. We saw crashes, we saw drama, we saw rain. That race had everything you could want from a Grand Prix. And in the end, Ferrari are on top, winning the race. Make sure you join us tomorrow for the Tier 1 race. They head to the streets of Singapore for the Singapore Grand Prix. Should be an exciting one there in Singapore. Tricky to overtake, a real driver's track. We'll see if McLaren can keep their incredible form going. And Tier 2 next week, they will also be going to the streets of Singapore. So we might have some of these Tier 2 drivers taking notes from the guys in Tier 1, see what they do, and see what they can try to mimic to see if they can pull a great result out of the bag in next week's race. So make sure you definitely join us for next week's race in Singapore. Tier 3 goes to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. This time, the normal way, the way it was meant to be for the Tier 3 guys. So I'm sure they'll really be looking forward to that. A home race for many of them. But that'll do it this week. Thank you all for joining us here at RPL. Make sure you join us tomorrow. Make sure you join us next week for more thrilling RPL action. You don't want to miss a beat. I am BeatNix714 signing off. We hope to see you soon.